Hello everyone, and welcome to this quick session on podcasting on YouTube. For I think most of you know me over here. So, for those who don't know me, I am Vaidishwaran Vedagiri. I'm an L&D consultant, and I've been in the learning industry for over 12 years now. And I consult with the L&D departments of both domestic as well as a lot of international organizations that include some of the Fortune 500 companies, and I have an instructional design background. So that is who I am. And apart from that, I'm also a Carnatic music vocalist, and I have my own podcast on YouTube called Empathic Designer Podcast. So I'm going to be so that's a really quick brief on me. So let me get started. So today's agenda is basically I'm going to talk about three things. The first one being shooting videos on YouTube. So I'm going to give some best practices on that. And the second part topic, which is going to be the bulk of today's presentation, is on post-production, where I'll be talking about adding visuals, audio quality, and the video quality itself. I'll talk about some of the editing tools that are available. And the third part is going to be on setting up your YouTube channel, which is a relatively smaller part of today's discussion. So that's the agenda for the day. So to continue, let's go into the first part, which is shooting of videos. So when it comes to shooting of video, there are certain important aspects that we need to remember when it comes to shooting video. So the first important aspect is to have a camera that is set in a stable manner. This is very important because when you're creating a YouTube podcast, as much as your content is important, the quality of your video is also very important. So it is important that your camera position is stable and it is set at a certain distance so that the visual feel is as good as the audio itself. So that is one of the most important things. And second, yeah. So that in mind, in order to do that, you can use a tripod for shooting your videos. Or if you don't have a tripod, you can actually just stack a set of books one on top of the other and set your camera on top of it, be it a phone or a regular camera, and you can shoot your videos. The second important thing is the positioning and the background. So when you are positioning your video, when you're positioning yourself for your video, make sure that you're facing the camera directly so that your eye, I mean, the camera's lens is at the same line as your eye. So that is the first point. And the second important point is that the focus of your camera should not be too tight. So there should be some space around you to your left and to your right, so that it gives a more it gives a little bit of white space to your video, which is very important in making your videos more visually pleasing for the eye. And so that is basically called your breathing space. And when it comes to the background, try to make sure that you keep your backgrounds very simple. Probably just a plain wall, or if you're going to use a library as a background, make sure that you don't have too many colors in the background so that it doesn't affect the contrast of yourself, because you are the most important part of the video and the background is just an enabler. If you have too many colors or too many elements in your background, it will tend to overpower your presence, and the viewer will be confused in terms of whether to concentrate you on the background. So you kind of get a little lost over there. And another important point is some people would like to have a whiteboard or a television screen behind them when they do their presentation. So if you're going to do something like that, the next part of the shooting video tips is going to be very important, which is the lighting. So if you're going to be using a whiteboard or a TV screen, they tend to reflect light. Okay, so make sure that when you position your camera, there is no reflection that comes and bounces off from your TV screen or your whiteboard screen, so that the contents of the TV screen or the whiteboard is also visible as much as you are. That is the first one. So talking about lighting, it is always advisable to shoot videos for your YouTube channel using artificial lighting, like a tube light or some kind of a soft light, because that gives you more control of the environment. So it is much more easier to control the positioning and things like that when it comes to shooting. But if you prefer to shoot using natural light, probably you might want to sit by a window, or probably want to shoot in a veranda, or probably you might want to shoot something in your garden for your channel. So if you're going to do something like that, my advice will be to schedule this shooting to happen a little earlier in the day, around say 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. Or if you want to do it in the evening, you can do it between 5:30 and 6:30, so that the sunlight is a little more soft at that time. So that's another important thing to remember. Make sure that the light source that you're using, whether it is natural or artificial light, the light should be very, very soft, so that it doesn't create those harsh shadows behind you. But if you do not have such soft lighting and you have only tube lights or any incandescent source that is very harsh, make sure that you have opposing lights, so that they cancel each other out and you don't have those harsh shadows forming either behind you, or probably under your eyes or under your nose or places like that. So that is very, very important. So the next part is the audio. So talking about audio, there are two options that are available. One, you can either use the inbuilt microphones that are there in your devices, or you have the option of using an external microphone. So both options are sort of fine. The only thing is, if you use an external microphone, the advantage is you have slightly better control of the audio quality, because external mics, I mean, their build quality is definitely better than what you get in the inbuilt mics, be it your camera or your the phone that you're recording. So an external mic is always advisable, but there are a lot of YouTube channels that use inbuilt microphones from the camera or the phones that you're using, and they're still getting good audio quality. So I'll tell you how you can work on such situations as well. So that is about the audio. The next component that we're going to be talking about is the speaking component itself. So when it comes to the speaking component, make sure that you deliver your speech in a very clear manner, and your speech should be really, really crisp, because people who come to YouTube podcast basically come to get quick solutions. So you should be very, very precise in what you're delivering on a YouTube podcast. So with that said, it is really important that all your uh, podcast episodes that you're going to be producing for YouTube are scripted. So when I say scripted, it should be like absolutely scripted to the last detail, in terms of how you welcome your visitors, the actual body of the content, and how you're going to sign off towards the end of the video. So again, when it comes to scripting videos, we have some people who are comfortable in absorbing whatever they write, and they go ahead and present it as naturally as they can. But some people will have issues in terms of that seamless delivery, and it may lead to multiple takes. So my recommendation in such situation is to get a teleprompter for yourself. So when I say teleprompter, there are again two options that are available. One, you can use a regular teleprompter itself, where I mean, that's something, it's like a hardware that you can buy, or there are a lot of mobile applications, teleprompter applications, that can be used for this particular purpose. So what will happen is, when you switch on your camera, your teleprompter will appear on the side close to your camera lens. So basically you will be reading the text, but since it is close to the camera lens, it will look as if you are speaking into the camera while you are reading a script. So I have actually evaluated a number of teleprompter applications for both iOS and Android. And this is just my personal opinion again. I have found that for iOS, there is this app called Video Teleprompter, which in my opinion really works. And for Android, the application is called Nano Teleprompter. So these two applications are really good. If you are going for a physical teleprompter itself, where you have this teleprompter device and you fix it to the camera, the lens, and you're going to be talking using that, Then I got this recommendation from a friend of mine who uses this particular hardware. It is called a Parrot teleprompter. So this particular teleprompter, he said it works really well for him. So this I have not used this application myself, but I heard this is good. So probably in the near future, I will try to get this teleprompter as well and see how it works. So this concludes the first part of our presentation on shooting videos. So we are going into the next part, which is the post-production. So when it comes to post-production of videos, the most important thing that we need to look here is the software. So as Dr. Nagarjuna was asking me before the session, are there any free softwares to do this? The answer is a definite yes. There are free software for editing both video and audio, and they are real professional softwares. So here are some examples. Of course, there are like a ton of software that are available, but these four software that I've put here are the most significant ones, the most famous ones. And for video, you can use Premiere Pro, which is from Adobe, or you can use a software called DaVinci Resolve. It's from a company called Blackmagic, and this software is free. So the special mention that I would like to give for DaVinci Resolve is that this is a free software, and this software incidentally was used for doing post-production for some of the scenes in the movie Avatar. So that is how professional that software is, and it is free. Okay. And as far as audio is concerned, you can use Audition from Adobe again, or you can use a free software called Audacity. And Audacity is a very robust software, and it really works. That's what I would like to say. I mean, Audacity is a software that we regularly use even at our workplace. So these four software definitely work. So as far as my personal use is concerned, for the podcast that I do, I use Premiere Pro and Audition for my podcast channels, and I will be demonstrating these two software right now. But essentially, when it comes to these audio and video editing software, the principle is all the same. It is just the look and feel and the user interface that varies a little bit. Some of these shortcut keys vary a little bit, but in principle, the way in which the software function are more or less the same. So let me go ahead and do a quick demo for you. So in this demo, I'm going to take one of the videos that I edited previously for one of my channels. So I'm going to take the raw video. I'm going to take the raw audio footage, and I'm going to take some of the raw images that I have created for the presentation, and I'm going to show you how they are assembled, how I make some cuts in the video, how I join, how I make those transitions. So I'm just going to do a quick demo of that. So I know that this session is actually going a little fast, because the objective of this session is only to give you an overview of what can be done and how things look like. So if you feel that you would like to have any one of these topics to be done as a detailed session, you can always ping on the chat window, and we can schedule some time and see how we can do that in detail. So let me just go ahead and share my screen, where I'm going to show you how the editing is going to be done. So I'm opening, okay, so these are the files that I have. So as you can see, we have the raw video that I shot from the phone camera. I recorded my audio separately on my laptop using an external microphone. So basically, I have the audio and video separate. So I'm going to show you how we combine this and make sure that there is a make sure that they are synchronized, because that is really important when it comes to having the video and audio as two separate tracks. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to really do the synchronizing. And I have some images as well. So I'm going to show you how these images are integrated into the video and how we go ahead and publish. So for this particular example, I'm going to be using Premiere Pro and Audition to show you how it works. You can actually use the same steps to work on other softwares as well. DaVinci Resolve looks more or less similar to Premiere Pro. So you can literally follow the same steps for that. So let me open Premiere Pro. So this is how the application looks like. So here you have the timeline. So this is where you're going to throw in all your assets, and you'll be doing all your editing over here. And this is the stage where you will see the output of whatever you have done. So let me go ahead and import the objects. It's very, very simple. So importing is just a matter of dragging and dropping the objects into your timeline. So let me just make it a little smaller so that you can see. So I have the objects over here. So I'm just picking up this video, just putting it in here. Let's close this so that you can see it much better. Okay. So we have the two tracks over here. So there is an audio track that's recorded in my device, and there is a video track. So if you look at my video closely, so I'm going to show you how the syncing is done. It's very, very simple. So you can see that I clap my hands over here, right? So this is the spot that I'm going to use for syncing. So you can see that in the waveform over here, the clap records as a peak. So here in the audio, you can see that same peak is sitting over here. So all I'll have to do is align these two. So if I align these two, my entire audio script, my entire audio track is synchronized. So that's how you do it. So it's just a matter of dragging things, cropping, and just dropping and things like that. So it's very, very simple. So you can see that the claps are now aligned. So that is how it is basically done. So if you want to trim a video, so basically this opening part you don't want, right? So we just need to go into when I start talking. Hello. So all you'll have to do is just put your marker over here. It will change its shape like this. So you just catch and drag. If you do that, that portion gets deleted, and you just have to drag it back to the original position so that your video starts like this.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Empathic Listener podcast. I'm your host Vaidishwaran.
So you can see that the video is totally synced with the audio. So it just took me like 10 seconds to do the synchronization. So it's as simple as that. It's very, very easy. And suppose, let's say you want to remove a portion of the video that you have talked. So for example, let's say that there is a portion that you want to edit out from a video. It's again very easy. So you just have to pick up a tool called a Razor tool. So this tool is again available in all your software. So you just have to pick whichever place that you don't want, just put it in there. And wherever you want to cut. So if you put it like this, it becomes a separate segment. So you just have to select a segment and hit the delete button. It just goes off. And you can merge the two like this. Just drag and put it up, it will merge. So the other thing is adding graphics. Let's say that you want to create a transition between two parts of your video and with a graphic. So again, the process is very, very simple. You just have to import your graphic the same way you imported the other files. So let's say I want to import this particular one over here. So again, I'll just have to drag and drop this in here. Just give me a second. Yeah. So you drag and drop this, this particular object will come up. So if you want to see how it looks like, it will look like this. So you can again reposition it so that it fills the gap in an appropriate manner, so that it just kind of flows.
A couple of weeks.
It flows like this. So if you notice here, this will happen sometimes where the recording size of your video and this image size will vary. So here you can see that the image is actually much bigger compared to the screen that I've used for recording. So you can see that this is a much bigger screen. So in order to do this, all you have to do is just right click on this, and you will have an option called scale to frame size. You do that, your image will automatically scale to this frame size so that the size of your video remains consistent from start to finish. So I'm doing all these functionalities in a tool called Premiere Pro. You can replicate this in any of your other video editing tools as well. So the other thing is about transitions. So here you can see that when it transitions from this to this, it actually happens in a very abrupt manner. So you can add some transitions to this to make your video look much more seamless. So in order to do that, you can go to, you can add effects. Let me make this bigger so that you can see. Yeah. So go to video effects, and you can basically select any effect that you want. So I'll probably pick, let's go to video transitions. We want to do a transition, so we'll have to go to video transitions. Let's say I want to have a simple, let's pick this one. We'll see how it works. So it's just a matter of dragging and dropping it in here. So you can see that the transition sits over here. So when you do this, it will come like this.
I've been of the COVID-19 situation.
Transition kind of happens in a very smooth way, so that it's a little more visually pleasing. So there are like tons of effects in whatever software that you're going to use, and you can use all these effects to make your video look a little more professional. So these are some of the video editing tips. So again, when it comes to your audio, sometimes you will experience a situation where your audio is either too loud or it is too soft. You will have situations like that. So in such situations, what you'll have to do is you can go ahead and change the audio volume within your video editing application itself. You don't need another application. So all you'll have to do is select the audio track that you've recorded, and you'll have to go into what is called audio effects, and you can adjust the amplitude. So you can select amplify. So once you select amplify, the amplify section will come under the editing section. So here you can go and edit. So you can select with how many decibels, whether you want to increase or decrease. So you can either do it manually using a slider, or you can type whatever number that you want, how many decibels you want, or you can, there are some preset options that are available. So you can go ahead and use some of that as well. So you just select whatever you want to do and just close the window. The amplification, whether you want to increase or decrease the volume, that will be applied.
Discussions with them and
So
have collected
you can look at this monitor to see how the volume levels are in your video. So this is a very high level overview of how you can do a little bit of video editing and post processing in your videos. So you can add multiple images, as much images as you want. So just make sure that the images are timed properly and the transitions appear in a very gradual and smooth manner. There are a lot of effects that you can choose from. All these softwares offer a very wide range of transitions that you want. So you can go ahead and do any of those. So as far as the images are concerned, you can create these images in any tool that you want, whether you're using Canva to generate your images, or if you're like me, you're using PowerPoint to create these images. You're more than welcome to use any image of your choice. Just make sure that they kind of have the same frame size as your video, so that it is published at the same aspect ratio, and your video looks really seamless and professional. So this is how we do the video editing part. So I'll now move into the last part of my session, which is going to talk about setting up your YouTube channel. So for this, I'm going to pull up my YouTube channel, and I'm going to show you what are the various parts that are there in a YouTube channel. And there are certain things that you can do for your YouTube channel to make it look a little more professional compared to the common YouTube channels that you see otherwise. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I have done. So this is just YouTube. So in order to access your channel, so you know that you can just select your name and hit your channel. So your channel will pop up. So as you can see, there are various parts to it. You have your home screen, you have the list of videos that you have produced, and you can create playlists in your platform. So I'm going to show you how you can do a customization to make your channel look a little more welcome for your users. So when you hit customize channel, you will come to your editor. So one of the first things that you can do to make your channel feel really welcome is to have a good profile picture. It can either be yourself, or it can be something that some art that you've either downloaded or created for your own channel. So this is something that this is a self-portrait of mine that I created on Photoshop. And this is basically your channel art. It's going to be like sort of a background. So this kind of gives a very welcome feel to your listeners. So when they come over here, they know that they are in your channel and it's all about this particular channel. And one of the things that you can also do is for your own subscribers, when they come to your channel, you can create what is called a featured corner. So for example, if you feel that some of your videos are really good and it's like these videos should not be missed by your subscribers, you can create this particular area over here. You can either put individual videos or you can put playlists over here. So I have put this particular playlist where I'm talking about storyboards. So I'm talking about some of the non-conventional storyboards in the learning and development space, and I feel that this is this is a very good series in my channel. So I have put that as a featured section over here. So when people come into your channel, they will see this first. They say, look, this is more like a headline to your channel. Like, hey guys, there are a lot of videos, but I think you should check out this video. This is like this is some highlighted content. It's like really, really good. So this is something that you can do. And another good idea is to create a lot of playlists for your videos. The reason why I'm talking about playlists is that when someone searches for videos on YouTube, you would have noticed that along with giving suggestions of the videos or your search results as videos, it will also give you search results of playlists. So a lot of people don't really bother into creating these playlists. So even if your videos don't feature in the top list of suggested videos by YouTube, if you create a lot of playlists that are like razor specific on a particular topic, the chances of your playlist coming up is much more on YouTube, and the chances of getting hits for your YouTube channel is much higher. So it is really important to create playlists. And another important feature that you can utilize is the about section. So here you can give a short description for your channel. So people who come and visit your channel, they know what the channel is about and whether it resonates with their interest, so that they can go ahead and subscribe to your channel. So these are very small things that you can do for your channel, because I'm sure most of you already have your own YouTube channels and you're regularly publishing content. But if you make some of these small changes to your YouTube channel, it will make it look really professional. And when people come and visit your channel on YouTube, they will realize that you are a serious person. You are very serious about what you do and the topics that you talk about, and their tendency to click and look into your videos and connecting with you is much more higher. So with this, I think we are almost at 40 minutes. So I think we've got about another 2-3 minutes left. So I just want to open up the floor for any questions that you might have for me, or if you would like to talk about if you want me to talk about any particular topic that you would like to discuss. I mean, that's for the future programs.
Any specific recommendation for camera, Vaidi?
It really depends on your personal perspective. Just make sure that your cameras are of at least 10 megapixel resolution. But I think most of your smartphones that come today, at least the ones that are priced about 10,000-12,000 rupees, have those cameras. So that is totally fine.
Okay. Thank you.
For my videos, I use a iPhone 6s.
Vaidi, can you send the recording of this program over to us by mail?
Sure, sir. I think I am recording this session. So
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. See, because we'd like to see it again.
Sure.
And then we'll have some few questions for you.
Absolutely, sir. I'll definitely do that. I know that.
Very useful.
Thank you, sir. I know I have been a little fast today, but I just wanted to give the objective is basically to give you all a flavor of what is there, so that if you want me to discuss about any particular topic in detail, I'd be more than happy to oblige.
Yeah, you see, definitely, practice makes perfect. First thing is we have to adapt to what you are telling, adopt the things which you are suggested, and then practice on it.
Sure.
That is more important. And once we do that, I think the questions will all start coming, the difficulties will come, and you will find that you are hard pressed for time.
Absolutely. I'll be more than happy to help you. I just wanted to make sure that, I just wanted to get a feel for how people like this and what people are really interested in. That's why I covered a gamut of topics today, so that it will help me identify what really people are interested in, so that I can schedule time to discuss those items in detail.
I could relate with all the things you said about taking a video, because you see, this shaking camera is a problem, and then the background was a problem, and then when I took in front of the TV, the light bulb was reflecting, and that was a problem. See, all these things, what you said, I had experience.
Okay.
And I only wish you had taken this program a bit earlier. Many of the trial and error methods we could have avoided.
Actually, I'll have to thank Vishal for that, because it's basically his idea, and he was the one who actually pushed me to make this session happen. So thanks to Vishal for that.
Thank you.
Can you just type your contact number
Sure, sir.
in the chat? Can you just give me your number?
Yes, I put it on chat. I think I put it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let me just put it for everyone. So feel free to WhatsApp me, and I'm not very active on WhatsApp, but I'll make sure. But you'll definitely get a response from me.
Okay.
So I have some questions on chat. So suggest more open source tools for video and audio. So what I will do is, there are actually like a ton of tools that are available. So I will probably make a list of those tools, and I will share it on WhatsApp and Telegram, so that it's useful for everyone. And the other question is, how user friendly is DaVinci Resolve Editor? It is basically, like Arun sir said, its practice makes perfect. So in the outset, it will look a little complicated, but it is actually very, very simple to use. There are a lot of tutorial videos that are available, and those tutorials are like about 45-50 minutes long. So if you take those tutorials, it's like pretty self-explanatory. You can do that. And more detailed session.
What sort of a budget should we have in our mind to set up a good, facility for creating videos?
Okay, so
What budget should we have in mind?
okay, so if for starters, I would say do not invest too much on your software, at least. I would like to say that suggest that you can start simple just with your camera phone itself. Just make sure that you've got your basics right. And so once you have your basics right, and because that is very important, because only when you get your basics right, your positioning and things like that, you will really realize what are the additional things that you actually need for your channel. So for example, for me, I feel that the videos that I produce from my phone itself is good. So I'm not investing on a camera. Whereas I feel that this teleprompter thing is something that really works for me. So I've invested in that application. And I feel that a microphone audio quality is very important for me, because I'm also a musician. So I have invested on a microphone. So for example, if you want to take my setup, including the software and the hardware, it cost me around 15,000 rupees.
Now, one question, Vaiti. Will a teleprompter not distract you from emoting adequately? Because you see, if your focus is going to be on the text, the emotions will get disconnected.
I actually tried that. I had the same suspicion, but you are able to produce those emotions, because the text that goes into the teleprompter is your script. So you know what is there, and you know what kind of emotions that you need to give for your own script. Because if you look at my particular channel, the last 3 or 4 videos that I've put up, I've used a teleprompter. And I tested this with some people. Some people, I mean, those people told me that before I told them, they didn't realize that I was using a teleprompter for that.
Okay. So this teleprompter you are suggesting is called video teleprompter for iOS and Parrot teleprompter, right?
Parrot teleprompter is a physical teleprompter. For Android, you can use a teleprompter called Nano teleprompter.
Not Android, iOS, Apple.
Oh, iOS, it is called video teleprompter.
Video teleprompter.
I'm just putting it on chat also.
The video teleprompter means then, the screen has to be facing the person.
Yes.
That means
yes.
it has to be taken on a selfie mode.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Hey, one question, Vaidi.
Yes.
It's a lovely session, man. Just wanted to understand, do you sync your slides as well?
Yes, I do. So that's the editing part that I showed you. So you can position your slides wherever you want on the timeline, and you can synchronize it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how you do it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And you can change the backgrounds and all. I think the softwares, whatever softwares you suggested, it can change the background. Like I think you're currently even now. I think you're using a background editor, right?
Okay. Oh, right now I'm using Zoom's
Zooms. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
built thing.
Right.
So
Okay.
you can definitely do. So for that, you'll have to have a plain background behind you, so that
Yeah.
you're able to superimpose any
Yeah.
third-party background that you want.
Right. And one quick question: how do you do titles? Subtitles.
Subtitles again, it is definitely so for YouTube. I don't usually go in for subtitles because YouTube has its own subtitling feature that is inbuilt. It is pretty accurate,
Yeah.
except for when it comes to my name, it kind of butchers it a little bit. But otherwise, my script is, I mean, it does a very good job about it. And the teleprompter app
Right.
that I suggested, it generates subtitle files as well. If you want a subtitle
Okay.
to be added on your own accord, this teleprompter app that I said, it also creates those subtitle files.
Okay. Great. Okay. I'll leave it to others. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fabulous session. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you repeat a session like this in another 15 days by the same session?
Yeah, sure, I can do that. I can repeat.
Because you see, I think repeating the session once or twice more will help us to internalize it better.
Okay.
What, Sati? Am I right?
Yeah, I'll be happy to repeat the session. Not a problem.
See,
And-
what I was requesting is, why don't you dwell, you have got 3 sections in this. One is the video taking, the second is editing, the third is your YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
You segregate all these 3 into 3 40-minute sessions.
Okay, I can do that.
I think that will be, that will give us a better understanding, because you had to rush all the sessions.
Yes.
Maybe, when you come with only the video taking, at that time, you can help us to understand better what are the various intricacies of it.
Absolutely. So let me go ahead and set up those sessions. Yeah, let me go ahead and set up those sessions. Sure. So
Huh?
yeah, let me go ahead and set up those sessions, sir.
Please.
Yeah.
Please let us have the dates when you are free.
Sure, sir. I'll definitely do that. And until then, if you want to see some of the videos that I've put in for learning and development, or want to see how my videos look like, you can subscribe to my channel. It's called the Empathic Designer Podcast. I put it on the channel. So you can go ahead and check out some of the videos that I've put in. And if you have any questions, as I've already shared my number, you can definitely WhatsApp me, and I'll be really happy to respond to that. So any other questions?
Okay.
Sure, sir.
Thank you, Vaidi. It was great.
Okay. So I think
Thank you.
we've come to the
Great session, Vaidi.
So thanks a lot, everyone, for joining in. It was wonderful talking to you all. You were a great audience. Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Good night, Vaidi.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, good night. Bye.